So I'm here today just to go live for a little bit, give you a background of the neck installation process, as well as level crown and polish, that sort of thing. So first thing I do when I get a neck, I'll check it for any defects, make sure everything's good there. Then I will pair it with the body. I'll make sure the neck pocket is nice and firm, nice, good seated fit so that you get good resonance. Then I will make sure that the neck is straight. I'll use my notched straight edge to make sure we've got a straight neck before we get started. We'll also check the radius of the fretboard to make sure that I'm using the proper radius when I'm sanding it. We'll also check for any popped frets. If any of the frets are not fully seated, now's a good time to do that before the neck is installed. I'll make sure all the frets are fully seated and they stay that way. At that time, the neck is level. I'll go ahead and put it on the guitar. Again, make sure the screws are in there nice and firm, get a nice seated fit there. Then I will check level of the neck again. Make sure we're still starting out with a level neck. Sometimes that transition between the neck and the neck pocket to the body there can get a little bit wonky, so I want to make sure I know what's going on there as well. All right, so we got the neck on. I will go through with the fret rocker, check for any, high frets, any that are obviously high there. And then I'll go ahead and start leveling those out just with a basic file. And then I will get into the straight edges. I use a series of straight edges to level the frets out. So starting out with this straight edge, and I'll move on to my radius sanding beams. So this is a 10-inch radius for this neck. Use a 10-inch radius sanding beam for that. We'll also utilize a smaller radius sanding beam to augment when I do the ramp from the neck to the body. So the frets are level. I give it a gentle slope and a ramp when it comes to the body. That allows you to get lower action as well as prevent any fret buzz in that area. So that's where we are now. We've got the frets leveled. I am now doing a crown on all the frets here. So I utilize a series of 2 to 3 files to make sure that I'm not heating up the file and or the fret, because that could cause that fret to pop out of the wood again. So want to make sure that we do this process while keeping the fret fully seated and firm in the neck. So I use a concave file here to make sure that we're getting a nice crown on the top of each fret. I'll start with the coarse file here first, and then once I get a nice close to the top of the crown, I'll go in with a finer grit of the file. These are stainless steel frets, so this takes a little bit longer of a process with stainless steel. It's a much harder material, a lot harder on the tools as well. So I swap them out. I also make sure that I'm cleaning out the grit each time to make sure I'm getting a good surface. All right. Okay, again, I'm switching out my files to make sure I don't heat them up too much. Making sure that that fret stays fully seated. Changing grit to a finer grit. Once I get that crown to the very top, and again cleaning out my file. Okay, again, constantly switching files, making sure I'm cleaning them out as well. Making sure that we maintain the fret fully seated and we get a good crown. Constantly checking my line to make sure they have good crown. Nice, even and level. All right, now that I have everything crowned, I'll go through and check, make sure that everything's still showing level for each fret. All right, now that we've made sure that we've got all our crowns are still level, we are going to start the polishing process. All right, so what I do for polishing is I go through a series of finer grit erasers. These are erasers with kind of sandpaper grit in them. I will go down each succession and then I'll give it steel wool treatment. All right. After my first pass, I'm going to now kind of round the corners on each of these frets. As you can see, we've got a P90 in this one, so P90s are an option in case you weren't aware. Got all kind of pickup combinations, all kind of wiring combinations available as well. All right, I think that's where we're going to end it today. By all means, if you got any questions, feel free to contact me. Contact information is on my title page here, as well as at wernerguitars.com. Thanks for checking out the video, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.